I really dislike that noise, that voice saying that at the beginning. It's always loud. All right. Hello, Jenna. Thank you for joining us. If you are interested to come up on video today, we're inviting anybody and everybody up to join us. We will get started here in just a moment. What's up, Stanley? How are you? Angela, thank you for joining. Hello, Nancy. Rich, good to see you as well. We got Missy in also.
I guess I'm on my phone. I can't see anybody.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for you.
It's
Swipe
hard.
left.
Yeah.
Swipe left.
Then I'll lose everything. I'm too afraid. Elder tech.
All right, and I'm gonna get us going live right now. We should be good. All right.
It says you're live. It says you're live.
Hello, everybody that's joining us today. Today is a special open forum, open house version. So if you are in the audience and you want to join and come up live with video, please raise your hand and we will bounce you up. You're not obligated to, but you are welcome to, of course. Thanks, Josh. You're not supposed to give that away yet. So let's see here. I'm going to take a quick second. We'll bring people up. And today's show, we're like I said, open house. We're going to do a couple things. We're going to start off by talking a little bit about the Intuit price changes, dive in a little bit deeper, try to answer questions people may have. Josh, I'm going to make you a co-host as well. So maybe you can kind of help if people want to come up and help with questions also, because Lynda, the Gator Rustler Artisani, is on her phone. And
yeah,
she's gonna kill me after this.
Promote everybody.
I should kill Josh. You could change my name back, right? Josh, buddy, old council, buddy, old friend. His wheels are spinning now.
No, won't let me change your name.
Bummer.
I think you're lying.
So, Alicia and Jan, thank you so much for joining ahead of time. Appreciate it. Real quickly, can you each individually introduce yourself? Do a quick, intro. We'll start with you, Alicia,
Well,
and then we'll go to you, Jan.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me to be here today. That's awesome. My name is Alicia Katz-Pollock. My official job title is QBO Rockstar. And at royalwise.com, I have a vast video training library where I train bookkeepers and their clients on how to use QBO. So if you are one of those people where you're a longtime desktop expert and you hate QBO, I have been known to convert a lot of people who feel that way into huge fans. So if I can be your training partner for your firm, let me know.
I love that. We get a lot of, I'm the one that does the training also, and sometimes it's hard to break out time just to focus on that. So it's great to have a resource in such a
if you put in a couple hours of training ahead of time, it saves you days of frustration down the line. It's every moment you put into training has huge ROI.
And lots of frustration as the accountant. Jan, how about you? Please give us an introduction of yourself.
Hi, I'm Jan Prost-Durang. I'm a certified professional bookkeeper in Canada. I actually live in Toronto, so I service the greater Toronto area. And I'm a bookkeeper, but I do training and migration and taxes. Yeah, I do a whole bunch of stuff.
Lynda and I had the pleasure of pushing Jan into doing her very first live stream by accident a long time ago when we were in Toronto. And I always remember that and had fun telling that story. She's like, she did such a great job. So
I did not want to do it. And I'm like, can I go? And I'm sitting beside Matthew and he's like, you're not leaving. Kind of held me.
Trial by fire.
Yep.
Yeah, it was. It certainly got me going on doing a lot more of this.
Well, good.
Now,
Glad he pushed your boundaries.
So he kidnapped you. Is that what you're saying, Jen?
Yes. Although you were sitting across from him with Misty.
I had nothing to do with it.
No, you did. You're like, sure, go ahead.
They don't call it kidnapping in Canada, eh?
So they call it collusion.
Exactly. Josh, how about you? And then Lynda will finish with you.
Is actually the word. Voluntold.
Love it.
I'm of no consequence.
That's a quick introduction. Okay.
Yeah, really. What does that
Come
mean?
on now.
Oh, my name's Josh Stanley. I'm an accountant enrolled agent. We do a little bit of everything. And one extra thing I like to do is teach people about S corporations and understanding their taxes better so they can make better decisions and have a better business.
That's not nothing.
Love it. Yeah,
Oh.
that's more than nothing. And Lynda, I know everybody is very familiar with you, but give us an intro. Tell us all about you.
Lynda Artisani. I run Artisani Accounting, and I work exclusively with attorneys. And I used to run this show here with Matthew, so I'm pretty familiar with the content. I know how to handle him, Jan, and I know Alicia does too.
Oh, I've learned pretty quickly. It's like, yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So I'm going to jump into our presentation for the day. And again, anybody who is in the Zoom meeting, feel free to raise your hand if you'd like to join us up on screen. You're welcome to, especially as we go through the conversation. And if you're on Facebook, feel free to follow the link and join us in Zoom. So we shall get started here. So the thing I wanted to really kind of get going with right off the bat is a lot of the changes that are happening with the Intuit pricing. And we've got somebody who we need to have mute the Facebook Live also, please. I think. The different pricing and trying to make sure that it's understood kind of how the changes are rolling out. So I'm hoping some of these slides will kind of help, but please ask your questions. We'll do our best to help from there. There's a couple important dates to know. July 15th, August 1st, September 1st. July 15th is the very first important date. That is the date which all new subscriptions that if you've never had anything to do with QuickBooks Online whatsoever, you go in and you set up a new company file, new subscriptions will be at the new retail price. It's also if you are already under wholesale billing, and I use the word wholesale billing on purpose, if you were to upgrade your subscription on or after that date or downgrade your subscription, those new subscriptions would be based at the new retail price also. So very, very important. I should clarify one thing there. I said if you've got the wholesale discount, you would have it would go under the new ProAdvisor preferred pricing, which we'll talk about in a moment. Now on August 1st, anybody that's out there that basically already has a QuickBooks Online subscription, but is not connected to an accountant under a wholesale billing. So in other words, it's just direct billing, their prices will go up August 1st. Those people Intuit will notify as well. So because it's direct relation. So that's August 1st. Then September 1st, that is when anything that's under the wholesale billing, in other words, it's being billed to accountants, that's when those prices will go up to the new pricing structure based on, again, the new retail price. We're going to talk about the difference between wholesale and the ProAdvisor preferred pricing, otherwise called the PPP. But
You didn't just do that.
I did.
Yeah, they did.
I did.
Matthew, so the question that I've been seeing around on all the social media is, when is my bill going to be affected? Or is my bill going to be affected? Do I keep my 50% ones from before?
Good question. So we're going to talk about a little bit of that. And I believe it's the next slide. So a key part of the September 1st is accounts, any of the accounts that were set up under your wholesale billing before July 15th will still have their, I call it grandfathered in version, but it has to be before that. And it's important to know that Intuit is not doing any notifications to any clients, any of your clients about the price change. They have provided resources to try to help you explain it to your clients, but they will not be telling anybody else. So towards, I forget which order I did some of these questions, but one of the questions you had asked Lynda was, when will my bill be impacted? So your bill,
Right.
whatever that date is, that next billing cycle that starts is when you will see the changes go. So in other words, for me, my bill is usually around the 8th of the month, right? So that means if we're talking a September 1st, my next billing cycle would be starting that 8th is when I would see that change.
So it's going to change. So the
It
50% is going away and there's no grandfathering there. It's going to go right to 30.
So we're going to follow back up to that because that's not exactly correct what you're saying.
Mhm.
So I'm trying my best to kind of explain some of this stuff as I go through. So we'll follow back on that.
Okay.
So what we're talking about here is the ProAdvisor preferred pricing. I'm going to go back on purpose here. And what we're talking about here on July 15th, the ProAdvisor preferred pricing goes into effect. Okay. That is for new subscriptions, anything new. We're not talking about anything that's been existing before. So there, in a sense, you're going to have both the wholesale billing coexist at the same time as the ProAdvisor preferred pricing, depending on when the accounts were set up. And Alicia, if I mess up any of this, please feel free to chime in. I'm trying to do my best to get it right. What happens with this, fundamentally what's going on is they're taking and they're trying to standardize a lot of this stuff. So the big hubbub is, okay, the 50% of wholesale billing has been reduced down to 30% as of the ProAdvisor preferred pricing. If you already had set up I think it's this one here, if you already had the legacy wholesale pricing, they will continue to honor that for any subscriptions that were established before July 15th. But the moment you make a change on individually, any one of those, that legacy wholesale becomes ProAdvisor partner pricing. Okay. The price changes as well. So the screen that you're looking at right now, trying to show here is the different versions of QuickBooks Online, the current retail price of everything right now. The next one is the retail price as of July 15th. If Joe Schmo goes and buys it on their own, retail price. Okay. And then the current wholesale billing price as of today. Then as of July 5th, say this the right way, the wholesale billing price for this would be, say this the right way, up to that point is the legacy whole billing price, is at the new rate was the $40. So what I'm saying here is anybody who's already on that legacy wholesaling, the price does go up, the retail goes up, you still get to keep your 50% discount as long as you don't make any changes. But then as soon as the ProAdvisor partner, if it's an account set up after July 15th, it would default to the new ProAdvisor partner pricing. So for me, the example is plus, instead of being 40, that 30% takes you to 56. How'd I do, everybody? Did I get
that? No, that's great. So basically it's going to be a normal price increase for any of your existing accounts, and the normal like we've had before, and then it's just the new ones are going to be at the 30, so they're not taking away the 50 that you currently have. And I know one of the major questions that came up was about the 5 for 5s,
I'm
not
coming
5
to
for
that.
5, but
I'm coming
the
to
other
that
one.
towards the
See,
end.
and I did not look at your PowerPoint, but go ahead.
No, I know. I didn't. Well, it's because I was working on it all the way up to the last minute. So
Yeah,
your
'cause that was
questions
the
are
other
great.
big question. Mhm.
Yeah, your questions are great. So we'll be coming up to that in just a moment. So now that we tried to go through some of this, and again, please, people, ask questions, Facebook or Zoom, and I will try to answer as best I can.
Actually, can you go back to that other slide for a second?
This one here, you bet.
Yeah, notice that Simple Start is on there. That's something that I'm completely excited about.
Okay.
Do you use it?
I have a couple people on Simple Start. It's not that many, but Simple Start was never available at all through the wholesale program. And so whenever I did have somebody who was eligible for it, I always went to like CBG partners or other sources to get them connected at a discounted rate. And now I don't have to like have two different cycles. I can do everybody under one roof. So I'm very happy to see that.
All of the information I'm sharing, when you download the PDFs from this, they're hyperlinked to the source. My goal was to try to lay it out in a manner which I thought might be easier to understand. But you can double check it to make sure I didn't mess anything up, and you can't. If I did, sorry, it's not my fault. So Now, Jan, I know this part. I apologize. We're kind of taking some time on this because you're lucky you're in Canada, so you're not getting hit by this.
But I
Yeah.
have US clients, so yes, I am.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, we're not affected by this at all at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. There will be
Yeah,
changes. It
It
always.
was we had an increase not that long ago, but it certainly, if we had 5 for 5, or it used to be 10 for 10, which
Yeah.
was the life of the thing. So I haven't lost any of my 10 for 10s.
So I'll go back to this size in just a quick moment. But one of the things that's worth kind of mentioning is, if everybody hasn't figured out yet, traditionally every year about this time, Lynda, if you can,
Yeah.
every time around this time of year is when there is about a $10 per subscription level price increase, basically every year. Last year during COVID, they did not do that. Obvious reasons, trying to be supportive of everybody else. I think, it's a great move. So initially I remember a couple years back, there was always a lot of concern, like they're always just changing prices, The prices that they change, they only do this once a year, but then there's the desktop environment and there may be price changes there. And they're not running things all at the same time. So yes, there are consistent price changes. Just accept it. It is what it is. Go buy stock. That way you're happy about it. I mean, that's truly the best approach on it because it ain't going to change, folks. So what do you think about that, Josh? Do you own stock?
No, I want to though. Another thing I've been considering is switching, instead of doing wholesale billing, just reselling it. But,
Do it.
A lot of changes we're going to make this year for the better to have a better firm and better serve our clients.
So I'm going to dive into the last bit of the slides, and then I'd love to hear everybody's opinion on wholesale versus retail versus resale, if that's okay, because I know we all probably have some insights on that. So coming back to here, our next one here. Okay, so there's other things that are changing price-wise as well. What we're showing you now is specifically payroll. Okay, so the payroll along with the preferred pay, ProAdvisor, this is why I go by the PPP. It's just easier at this point. ProAdvisor preferred pricing. I mean, that's a tongue twister, right? The PPP. Hey, Brian, thank you for joining us. Okay, so the way these discounts, everything else work, that's important to know. If the client is billed, and this is for this QBO software and the payroll, everything else we're talking about. Yeah, I guess, Caleb, it is kind of PAPP. You're right. If you want to be technical about it. Client billed, the discount is for 12 months only. If it's billed to the accountant, it's ongoing. For the software, 30% off, as you're seeing, basically across. And again, we're now talking about anything that was started after July 15th, just to kind of reconnect that point we're talking about. Payroll is 30% off the base for 12 months client billed, 30% off the base for account billed, and then the 15% off, same idea for employee versus contract fees. And you can see with QuickBooks Time, same kind of concept. Now I'm going to go back over to the payroll sheet. That's this one. And what we're looking at here is currently core payroll, base fee, employee. So it's base fee, employer, contractor. The base fee is currently 45. Employee and contractor is 4 and 4. Premium 75, 8 and 8. Elite is 125 and 10 and 10. If it was a direct discount, in other words, they're paying for it, you get 12 months. And the rates that you'll be talking about, the discount takes the base to $31.50, $52.50, so forth. And then the employer contractor goes from 4 to $340, 8 to $680, 10 to $850. So hopefully seeing how this lays out that way will help understand that a little bit more as well.
You go back.
What's that?
Go back one screen.
You bet. This one?
Yeah. No, one more. Yeah, right there where it says client bill 30% off. I believe that's not in perpetuity. It's just for 1 year, right?
12 months only.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 12 months only for clients. And then for accountant, it is ongoing. You are correct on that. Good point.
Now, one of the things that is an improvement in this is that the contractor and employee rates before were exactly the same, whether you were retail or wholesale. And so now with the preferred pricing, we actually now get a little bit of a margin on that.
That is true. That's a great point, because again, if we do payroll for all of our people also, and so I'm doing QuickBooks subscription and payroll subscription every month. So it'd be nice to see what happens there. And
How do
Brian's
these prices, how
Go
do these
ahead.
prices, how do these prices compare to other platforms like Gusto, or it's pretty much they're all about the same, right? Or does
I
this
didn't-
change make it more expensive?
I'll have to get back to you next week with slides on that one.
Okay, I just figured you might know. I don't know if anybody else
Anybody
knows.
who is familiar with Gusto and wants to chime in with some information, open to it. Same idea with ADP and paychecks. We can crowdsource and answer for you. God, I always ask the hard ones, don't you, Lynda? Jeez, it's because the
Gusto,
name I gave you.
I saved up for you.
I think the pricing is comparable. I think Gusto in some cases a little bit cheaper, but I think most of the payroll providers now are getting on board with a similar pricing model.
Yeah, I mean, they're all going to fall in line to some extent, right? So Brian's asking in Facebook, so instead of 50% off, it's now 30%. That is a very simplified version of a way to say it, as long as you understood all the dates, everything else, which I can follow up with you afterwards. But basically, after July 15th, that's a good summarization.
I think that's a good in a nutshell.
In a nutshell.
This is me in a
nutshell. Okay. Anyways, multi-company offer the multi-company offer details. So what we're talking about here, and we're sharing a lot of the secrets and stuff. This is the opportunity that we as accounts have to try to, help our clients, but also make a little extra off of what we're recommending in a sense. Multi-company offer details. So what this is if you are bringing more than one company to QuickBooks Online at the same time, you can purchase a package of multiple licenses all at once. And it currently, the way that works is your first license under wholesale billing would have been, because it has to be under wholesale, there's no other way, it's got to be under wholesale, would be $35 a month currently. It would actually go up to 40 because that you would be grandfathered into the old wholesale billing at that point, which would be the 50%. And then you can get each additional account for $5 each. And of course, those are all per month. Those files, this is all anything that exists before July 15th, have a 5-year term. And at the end of the 5 years, they still retain the 50% discount at whatever that retail rate is at the end of the 5-year term. The new multi-company bundles, if I remember correctly, actually the old ones as well, you could do up to, I think it was up to 20 companies. But now the new multi-company bundles, if you're doing this July 15th or after, they will be a 2-year lifespan. You would get the 30%, which means your first one would be the 56, and then each child account would be 20 each. And at the end of the 2 years, it would go up to the 30%. I'm sorry, you would still, polite way to say is you'd still retain the 30% PPP discount. Am I getting that right so far? What do you say, Alicia?
The one thing that you should be really clear about is that multi-company means it's one company with multiple EINs or needs one file. It's not like you can use one shell for one company and one shell for another one of your clients. It's one client who normally would be like 5 files in your desktop, and you would switch between their 5 files. So it's like one owner or one holding company or one entity with little parts.
Absolutely right. And the way that's done as well is they are interlinked. You have to set up and create them at the same time. If you do not set them up within a very short window, you lose them. There is no going back and adding on secondary. So when you're doing it, you've got to do them all together. So great point. Very good clarification on that. All right. So before I go into other stuff, any questions on that very complicated topic?
No,
Oh.
but that 2-year window, when you think about that 2-year window on that, put that on your calendar. Because if you're giving your client some kind of a deal, I mean, I have a few people in the 5-year deal, and that's almost running out. I have it on my calendar. So you
Be a
definitely
good
want
use of those
to.
custom fields, huh, Linda?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with Linda on that. I have one client who I'm sure has forgotten that 4 years
Oh,
ago I set them up and
It
that
goes
they're
by
going to have this
fast.
bill that's going to go from here to like there.
Yep.
And so prepping them ahead of time to let them know how much money they saved over the 4 years before this
Exactly.
happens.
I do
It
want to
works great.
do the silver lining though of I love the fact that you've had clients that long. Good job. That's good. Okay, so now I would love to hear everybody's input again through the comments or live here. Wholesale, retail, resale. So who wants to talk first?
Well,
Alicia, go for it.
yeah, I'm a huge wholesaler, and that's because I'm not a bookkeeping or accounting firm. I'm a training, setup, and troubleshooting agency, and so I bring people into QBO and I set them up. And so most of my clients, I'm able to say, well, hey, if you sign up and pay me, then you get a discount. And so I have all my clients on QuickBooks payments, auto billing, so their sales receipt goes and charges them. And I give them a quote unquote 20% discount off of whatever the retail is at any point. And so that allows me to give them a deal and also make just a tiny little cushion for myself as a revenue stream. And so, like, that's my model. And so when this goes up, I'm going to have to make some adjustments in that, if they still get the 20%, now my margin has come down. So I'll have to kind of rethink my messaging on that. But that's what I like about the wholesale program. And I can still use the ProAdvisor, the PAPP plan in the same way. And so I really appreciate that for that little revenue stream. And as far as the messaging goes, they have so many new features that get rolled out all the time that people who are using QBO have forgotten how long it used to take them to do the same stuff way back when. And so my messaging is about, well, if this saved you an hour a week and you charge $25 an hour, then your subscription saves you $100 and it still costs you less than $100. Therefore, QBO still saves you money, even if the price goes up.
I agree. Jan, what do you think? What do you do?
Most of mine are on wholesale.
Okay.
Some are actually, and I mean, some of my clients, because I'm dealing with a lot of new accountants this year, that they had their clients on their wholesale, but most do. Cause I say, it's like right now in Canada, it's like, it's $60 if you go to get it on your own. And I'm like, okay, I can offer it for, and I don't usually tell them I have the 10 for 10 or 5 for 5. So, so it's like, so I do the same as Alicia, it's 20% less. So if there's an increase in the period of their engagement with me, I'm not stung anymore. Because it used to be, all of a sudden they're like, but you promised me. But I'm finding most don't want to go through the retail at this point. It's just, they're finding it, and they find it confusing too.
Linda, how about you?
Well, I think my position on this. I am out of wholesale altogether. I don't want to deal with it. I prefer to use a reseller, get my commission. I don't have to worry about sales tax. I don't have to worry about price increases. And I've told you, Matt, that I've spent many years just absorbing that $10 and started to think about 46 clients times $10 per month. That's $120 per year. And I'm absorbing it because I felt like I raised their price and then I'm going to be going back to them to raise it because Intuit went up, and then explaining it to them. It's like, well, it's your tool. I don't really care about the extra, that's being charged. So, oh no, here comes the kids. So, but yeah, I just say, get the wholesale. This is my nugget. Get off wholesale, get on, because I want to deal with sales tax either. It's just easier.
Do you hear him?
I do hear him.
She tries not to, but she does hear me all the time.
And we hear you.
Now, real quickly, Leanne was asking about, do you know what will happen to the 5 for 25? So the 5 for 25, there were some really old original ones, especially they were like lifetime deals. Those have been confirmed they're honoring that. It's not changing. Everything continues on with that. The old existing ones, the 5 for 25 that were not like there's some other ones that had a shorter lifespan. My understanding, we need to reconfirm this. My understanding would be is they would be part of that legacy wholesaling, and you would then see them bump up to they would still be offered that 50% discount, so long as you don't make any modifications or changes to their levels. So again, if you had that 5 for 5 and you change the subscription level up or down, you lose it anyways. My personal belief has always been on those 5 for 25s, you should never, ever, 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 ever give those to a client. You should always keep those for yourself. You will be amazed how you'll end up needing it later on, and having training grounds that you can use for yourself to learn and teach people. It's the best value for you, because clients don't traditionally appreciate and understand that they don't know they're getting that discount. So you're not getting the value of that discount. Josh, how about you? What's your wholesale, resale, retail?
Sure. So we bundle all of our services into a package with whatever apps, and that way they just have to pay a monthly fee to us. However, with the price increases, I'm starting to think we might switch that. I hate going back to the client and saying, well, we got to raise our prices because of another company, where I could just keep our prices the same. We make our same margins, and then it's up for the client to deal with it. So I'm kind of mixed right now, and like we're kind of going through a change, going to make some changes within the firm, and that's something we're going to consider after this year's done. So,
Josh, you actually bundle other apps too?
some, yeah. We use Live Plan, and we have some lifetime subscriptions to apps we use that some people can't get anymore. So we kind of just add that in there. But with the QuickBooks raising, we're getting tired of having to get our fees and then pay QuickBooks. It's something we might take Lynda's example and change the way we do things moving forward.
Don't forget to do the merchant services part. So there's some more commission for you.
Yeah. And what Lynda's talking about there is, if you go through a good reseller program, there are bounties that you can receive on setting up an account, and you can even get it established to where you receive a rebate, we'll call it, kickback on the merchant processing as well that's being processed by that company. And it can truly become a very a great, revenue stream for you. So definitely something to look at. The slide I'm showing right now actually addresses something. It's something we started to do at Parkway a while back. And again, this is something I wrote. So I always tell everybody, you need to do your own, check it with your own legal counsel, but it's something you can add into your contracts, because there's always going to be these different price increases. So we added in, the use of specialized software applications is fundamental to our service offering. Our ability to offer you cloud-based accounting and payroll services requires us to maintain individual subscriptions specific to your account. As a value-added service, put your firm there, has bundled the cost of the unique applications used to process your company information. From time to time, these third-party software companies may increase their cost of service. When price increases occur, your firm will notify the client about the rate increase based on the new retail price less the previous retail price. The calculated total will be reflected on the next billing cycle as an increase in the total fee. This retail to retail difference will impact the total of your recurring charge for services. Now, with that being said, though, especially after a COVID year, because we've, like, almost all of our people are wholesale, and we were still paying the bill and all this stuff, and at first we're like, who's going to make it, who's not? It scared me. So I'm much more focused on doing resale or letting them put it on their own billing personally at this point. So, any last questions or comments on this? And before, I'd love to actually talk to Jan about QuickBooks Connect Canada and get her insights. Any last questions from anybody? Awesome. You guys are so quiet. Wow, we did that good of a job. So Jen, QuickBooks Connect Canada, tell us about it. What was it like? We've all missed QuickBooks Connect.
It's certainly not the same doing it virtually. So you miss some of the connections. The one thing that is nice with it being in Canada, they go with key Canadian people for their keynotes. They had Arlene Dickinson, who spoke a couple of years ago at QB Connect Canada, Toronto. She is an entrepreneur. There's a show in Canada called Dragon's Den where they do funding for startup companies. So they had her speak again. Yeah, so she's a fascinating lady. Very connected in the accounting world. So they had her as one of the keynotes, which was, I mean, she's always inspirational to listen to. They also had a gentleman, Neil Zarika or something. I don't know. My husband knows him. He's a motivational speaker. And so it was very enlightening of like things to do so you don't get caught in depression, in feeling low and stuff. And it was actually really good because he did 3 key things to do when you get up in the morning, and I don't know how well I'll remember them, but one was doing a gratitude list, saying what are you grateful for, but specifics. Not just saying, okay, I'm grateful for my house, but why are you grateful for your house? What is it about your house? Is it your gardens? Is it, it's the way it's decorated. So he was like, be specific in what you're grateful for. When you get up, take time, you'd love this, to meditate, to take a couple of minutes at least to be quiet, to be still. So that you're ready to impact the day. They were the 2 that stuck with me. And it was the one part of the conference was nice. I sat on the front porch while I went through the keynotes.
That's cool, right? That is.
And it was nice because Michael was able to sit there and listen.
That's really
Michael's
good.
my husband. So, and when I had said Neil, I said, well, I can go upstairs. He goes, no, he's really good. Stay down. So we sat on the porch and listened to him, it gave you inspiration, but it gave you like, oh, you know what? If I look at things as like every day is a new day, I can move on. Of course, they announced some of the new things coming, at
What are
least
those?
for in Canada. One of the things they're adding is direct payments on vendors
ACH?
from customers.
Nice.
Which we have not had. So and I think they said the end of June, on your invoices, it always has the credit card. They're actually in Canada now, it won't just be credit, because it used to be just credit card. Now it's also going to have PayPal for you and the direct payments from the bank. So it does what a lot of bill payments do. They send you to your bank. So they have to do it, but it's going to be, I was like thrilled because the costs for credit card charges a month are getting really costly.
Yeah.
They did a lot more panels this year instead of one person presenting.
A lot of brain dates too, right?
They did brain dates. So the main conference was on the 2nd, and both on the 1st and 2nd, they did brain dates where you could volunteer to do one, or you could sign up. And some were done in groups, some were done in individuals. So there was a real wide area for doing. There was a lot of talk about hiring processes. So overall, I found it was really good, except missing the in-person. One couple of things that were lacking. They started off the morning where they had meetup rooms that you could switch from and see people, but that stopped the rest of the day.
Okay.
So unless you were using, and I know a lot did because my phone never stopped, people were using Messenger, they were using Facebook to communicate. There was Andrew Wall had a Zoom meeting that was open most of the day, except, so you could at least go in there and meet and stuff. But that was really lacking because they'd have these lovely networking breaks of half an hour or more. And it's like, okay, I've been to I've been to the partners, I've been to the small business shop thing they had. Now what?
Well, it keeps getting better and better, each of these times.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I assume we'll see something similar for the United States, usually November time, right? Yeah. So,
one thing that was nice for people who attended QB Connect in person, so like 2 years ago or more, and had registered for this one, got a lovely little box gift
Oh, that's cool.
that had a coffee press with really good coffee, snacks, a sleep mask, as if I'll ever wear that. But it was a nice little thing. Like, people were upset, oh, I didn't get one. It's like, well, had you been previously?
I didn't get one, and I did go. But I'm in the United States.
Yeah.
I did. It's okay. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So now, Alicia, for you, I know you were talking about, like, you saw the hubbub about it all, but the next one that I know that we really have kind of coming up that's in person is going to be Scaling New Heights.
Mhm.
And if I remember correctly, this year you actually have a booth at Scaling New Heights.
I do. Yeah, I'm going to be in Innovation Alley. We are going to bring back the Yeti, which is that theme from several years ago. I took the Yeti costume and then I made it into a Terminator, and then I added butterflies to it. And this year it's going to have balloons and a stop sign for gathering up all of the themes. But yeah, I'm going to have my first table there.
That's exciting. Congratulations.
Very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jen, thank you so much for sharing about QuickBooks Connect. I think that is awesome. I know, Lynda, you'll agree with me that going to Toronto it was always one of our favorite, basically. I mean, I love San Jose,
it's our
but
favorite.
it was our favorite.
It's our favorite.
I should put that in the chat. I'm like, you guys can come visit anytime.
My favorite moment. My favorite moment was when you slid down the escalator. The second one, not the first one.
Oh, hush up. The first one was perfect. The other one, I was
video.
my whole way down. Yes.
If I have time to find it, I'll post the video.
I can find it and delete it. Yes.
No.
No, we don't want it deleted. We want it to be viewed.
Yes. Well, real quickly before we close out, I would like to show kind of some stuff that's coming up in the next week. Anything else to kind of add about the conferences from everybody that's here at the moment before I dive into that? Okay. I'm going to super quick, some of the resources we've been adding on for QB Community Live group, just want to make sure people are familiar with, is we now actually have a community calendar that you can go to. Let's see here. I'll do it.
Hey, that's me.
It is. So at qbcommunitylive.com, if you come here, this is where we keep all the episodes, the past episodes, or you can click onto them. Each one will have basically the video itself. It's going to have kind of a timeline of the different sections of what we talked about and the handout that you can go to for each of these. And then we also have inside our community resources. Well, first I'll go to calendar. The calendar we've got set up. This is a community calendar that anybody can go and add an event to as you wish. As long as it's all being respected, it's all great. We're good to go. So people have been adding things on. The goal is to make it to where we can help promote and share with everybody what's going on throughout the entire community. It doesn't cost anything to post on there. Just share with folks, and we'll always come up here and kind of share what's coming up each episode or each week. So as you can see, like, Alicia, you've got something coming up on the 8th,
Mm-hmm.
and then next week, my guest host is going to be the one and only Mr. Seth David. So that's going to be a heck of a lot of fun, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have in here community resources. This is a list of different groups that are all accounting based, except for I think one of them, which is Lifetime Tech Deals. It's one of my favorites, that you can click in and it'll take you straight to the groups. I'm going to be adding more about like different YouTube channels, stuff like that as resources. And we're also starting to try to do like a crowdsourced app directory where you'd be able to come in and different types of applications. We'll be able to put the name of the app across the top here and create a list of the different features and basically compare them across. And the people that contribute to certain ones will be asked to add their name in also with a link so they get credit for it. Just again, a way to kind of combine all the knowledge together. This is something really Hector and I did before about like customer reporting, same idea. So hopefully you guys will find some use out of those resources.
Yeah, thanks for putting those together.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. And as I kind of said, we got Seth coming up the next week. This is going to be a fun one. We'll probably, it'll be hard not to run over on this because Seth and I always have a fun time talking.
I wish I had a way to hit hearts and let all the hearts come up.
Yeah.
Oh, for
We
Seth?
love Seth. Yeah.
So, yeah, again, the goal is we're just trying to together we all succeed. So more of these resources, more we can do. I have started within the group one other thing that's not up there yet, but as people are asking to join into the group and we started to ask for emails, I'm setting it up to where we can send out a quick little survey to people. And when you fill out the survey, it will ask you what city and state you're living in. It's something I've talked about for a long time, and it's populating a members map, and it's just city state, so it's still private for everybody. But I wanted it to be, you may be surprised to find out you actually have other people listed that are close to you that are members, and you can collaborate, communicate. And then also, heaven forbid, there's any kind of a event around the world that we need to take care of each other, we can kind of take a look and see who's in what area and reach out and make sure they're taken care of.
Yeah.
So,
Only a
so
comment on that. Coming from the Canadian, of course, make sure when it says state, it also will take the provinces of Ontario, because so many of the forms from the US, they don't. So you can't, there's a lot of stuff I can't register for because I'm not in the States.
It's a great point. I'm going to follow up with you offline and let's test it out, because I know I didn't try that yet. So we'll look at that and make sure we can do it. So, any last words before we conclude for the day?
No, this was awesome. Great information.
It was good. Yeah.
Everybody,
Great PowerPoint.
as always, here's wishing you all a very successful week. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.